Hello, my friend, and welcome to the new study. It is in effect the old study as well. I've relocated my filming and my study, so I'm in a much quieter environment now. And this is my first video from my new location. And I hope you like it, and I hope it's relaxing and enjoyable for you as I get used to filming in this new library that I'm setting up. Today we're going to do our monthly study almanac for May. So as May is almost at an end, we are looking at the end of high spring and the beginning of what should be a glorious summer. The summer months stretch ahead of us, and the burgeoning of spring is at its height. So for our May almanac disc, we're going to be, you can hear the wind chimes above me. I've got the window open in the new study here. So we're going to be looking at wisteria, I think, because that's beautiful, beautiful flower that drapes over the stone buildings here in England. And we'll look at nature as usual, what we can see in the woodlands and the animals, the activity, and we will look at beacons, because the 1st of May has always been known since prehistoric times as the exact middle point between the equinox and the solstice, when we begin to get the warmer, longer days, and we're going towards the longest day of the year at the end of June, which is next month already. So this wonderful, fancy-free, wild abandon with which nature flings herself at the natural world, and all of the animals and plants around us are blossoming into their glory, regardless of what the humans are doing. So, the 1st of May, often known as Beltane, the night of the beacons. Beacon fires are lit, and festivities happen. And this was in all cultures around Europe and some around the world as well, often on the 1st of May, or that medium point between the equinox and solstice, marking the time of year of the green man, the oak man coming, of longer days, easier days, warmer weather, and celebrations, of course. And there are plenty of 1st of May celebrations throughout the country and the continent of Europe as well. So for the beacons, I'll be painting a nice little tower. I'll tell you all about that one. And we'll get a little bit into medieval history this month. I'm looking at Dover Castle just a little bit, and that empire-building monarch of England, Henry II. And in the middle, we'll have a nice bunch of elderflowers. So So as we get started, I'll just note once again that this is my first video from the new study, so I have done a little bit of relocation. Some changes in life have happened, some big decision making and moving around. Life is like that. And so it's taken up quite a lot of my energy over the last few months, if not the last 12 months. Those of you who follow my channel, thank you so much for all of your support, and you're continuing to watch the videos from the study, which I hope you derive some enjoyment and calm and pleasure from. And the new study is much bigger and it's in a different place, so if you've been following the study for a while, you know that the old study was in a little kind of an attic space. It was in a little 15th, 16th century half-timbered cottage, and it was very poky and quite uncomfortable, very small, and it could get very warm. It was beautifully south-facing, which was really nice for the light. It was in a very peaceful little village, overlooking the village green and the church. Very, very Miss Marple, if you like. Very charming. But after 15 years, it was time for a move. Moving on not only from the place, but from my situation. And I find myself now in a much bigger library. And if you're on my Patreon site for the study, you will have seen some of the videos. I will post some more videos for patrons of the study very soon. But this library is much nicer, and I'm very happy with it. I'm still settling in, so this video is a bit... it's a bit of a new experience for me, and so we can do it together. Let's start with the skies. In the night sky this May, right around now, we can still see Venus, Neptune and Saturn just before sunrise in the eastern sky. These planets will be a lot less easy to observe by June because of the shorter, lighter evenings combined with the positions that the planets are taking near the beginning of June and as summer comes. So these next few nights are a good chance to view Venus, Neptune and Saturn just before sunrise if you're up. As May passes, we lose sight of our large friend Jupiter, as well as the Crab Nebula. And by the 28th, we can see a waxing lunar crescent located at about 6 degrees northeast of where Jupiter can be seen. Neptune, only visible through a telescope unless you're a very keen eye in a very dark sky, sits very close to Saturn, which can also be observed very, very early in the morning, but is very difficult to spot because it's hidden in the sun's glare. So we must say goodbye to viewing a lot of these planets we can see with the naked eye until the end of the summer, when the skies once again will grow dark. There is the Eta Aquarid meteor shower, which happened at the early time of this month, and also the Sombrero galaxy is visible this month, and a little bit in June. So the sky will not be boring. in the woodlands and fields, we experience a burgeoning of life, mating season for many of not only the animals but the plants. Everything is out in its best colors and plumage. In England, there's the International Dawn Chorus Day, just before first light, when the robins and thrushes begin to sing, and blackbirds. The RSPB dubs it the opening act of nature's greatest show. For a breeding bird, energy is valuable and singing is a costly exercise. And the male can hold a strong tune. He proves to prospective partners that his larder is well stocked. The crescendo of the dawn chorus happens in May, as a lot of migrating birds show themselves in Britain, such as whitethroats and nightingales arriving back to breed on this island. Also, the resident birds can be heard very early in the morning, between 4 to even 8 o'clock, a cacophony of song. Many nocturnal creatures are out, including foxes, which have been out for some time now, finding food for their kits. There are badgers that are out and about, and the bats, as well as the hazel dormouse, which we'll put on our disc, which comes out of hibernation. Tiny little creatures fulfilling their spot in the grand scheme of the ecosystem. We also have early native orchids, along with many of our garden blooms, such as wisteria, which we'll also put on our disc. This beautiful purple drooping flower that frames beautiful walkways and buildings for us to enjoy the spring weather. Many butterflies and moths are coming, very colorful this season, as well as arrivals of birds such as the swift. The woodlands are replete with things like the lesser celandine, wood anemone, primrose, wood sorrel, violets, ground ivy, ivy-leaved speedwell, bittercress, forget-me-not, Goldilocks buttercup. We see a huge spectrum from the beginning of the month when we welcomed the white, lovely scented lilies of the valley, to now when we have all of these new blossoms that have spent themselves in the very early summer blossoms are coming. We have meadow buttercups, banbourne, ripwort, and sorrel, hogweed, and dandelions begin to appear, daisies as well, marsh thistle, and speedwell, all of the native flowers that make up the carpet on which the new baby animals will get their feet. All kinds of mushrooms and fungus will be appearing in the forest as well. The pygmy shrew is busy and very loud for such a small creature. We see more plovers, a golden plover this time, and clover begins. Marsh frogs begin hatching from their eggs, and a profusion of blossoms from the trees recede to the green canopy of the forest in all its splendor. In the center of our disc, we will see the elderflower. This was formerly placed together in the genus with honeysuckle because of the beautiful little white blossoms. Elder is a very fast-growing small tree or shrub, and there are about 20 to 30 species of these flowering plants in the family Odoxicae, which produce berries that are very dark purple and can be made into syrups. For the beacons that we're looking at, in a nod to Beltane and lighting of the fires, I'm putting a little Sedgley beacon tower on our disc. England is scattered with beacons, some prehistoric, some medieval, some Elizabethan, and even more modern ones. Beacons have been known to exist throughout human history as lighthouses, as communication symbols, and they were fires at very promontory places or prominent locations that could be easily seen, sometimes used as navigation, and sometimes used to communicate over long distances, such as during the Spanish Armada, where a lot of signal beacons were lit along the English coast to signal the arrival of the Spanish fleet, as sort of an optical telegraph, and many of them functioned as part of a relay system. The ancient Greeks called these frictoriae, and the Romans used them as well. One of the wonders of the ancient world was the lighthouse of Alexandria, that can also be said to be a beacon. Further afield, we see them along the Great Wall of China, and we read in Thucydides how they were employed in the Peloponnesian Wars, as well as later in the 10th century during the Arab and Byzantine Wars. In the north of Europe and in Britain, the Iron Age hill forts employed these beacons, these promontory points where fires would be lit very quickly, so that visibility of the countryside around was guaranteed. Many of the place names that had these beacons above them still bear the name Beacon, such as Beacon Hill, Brecon Beacon, and the famed Ivinghoe Beacon, which is northwest of London, and serves as the end of the prehistoric ridgeway, the highway of prehistoric Britain. These days, many of these fire towers are used for ceremonial purposes, such as in Britain the Royal Jubilee, and most recently the 80th anniversary of VE Day on the 8th of May. This brings us to Dover Castle. This very prominent location on the Channel in the southeast of England occupies a space that was very important in the ancient world, just as it is today. Not the least of which was lost on the Romans, who built a big lighthouse tower there. Which still stands as England's oldest building. Credited with building Dover Castle is the English monarch King Henry II. He was famed for many things, including his marriage to Eleanor of Aquitaine, thereby acquiring the Aquitanian overlordship crown, and being the father to Richard I Lionheart and John I. Also, the debacle with and death of Thomas Becket, and having to apologize before the Catholic Church for the treatment of Thomas Becket. He was crowned King of England in December 1154 and is said to have built the largest European empire of his age, which stretched all the way from Scotland south to the Pyrenees. The Angevin dynasty gets its name from the French county of Anjou, where Henry was born, which also served as the heart of his vast empire. He was great-grandson to William the Conqueror, who came from Normandy to England in 1066. He succeeded Stephen to the throne of England, but was not his direct son and heir. And this had precipitated from the early death of the Black Prince. In the tragedy of the White Ship incident, and the subsequent problems with the Empress Matilde, which is, in fact, another story. Matilde was Henry's mother. His father was Count Geoffroy of Anjou. And Matilda, the daughter of Henry I, made Henry II, the grandson of the former king. Henry I had named Matilda as successor, but on his death in 1135, her cousin had seized the throne successfully, and there was a conflict. Henry II, at a young age, inherited Normandy from his mother in 1150, succeeding his father as Count of Anjou in 1151. When he married Eleanor of Aquitaine, her second marriage, he became the Duke of Aquitaine, gaining these lands in southern France. By 1154, at the age of only 21, he succeeded Stephen as King of England, bringing with him all of Aquitaine and Anjou. In the subsequent years, Henry forged a great empire, strengthened his possessions, and expanded his control in the north of England, as well as in Wales, Normandy, and even Brittany and Ireland. One of the legends surrounding Henry II is that of his mistress, and we've done a little video on her, Rosamond the Fair, and I'll put a link to that right here. So for our disc, I'm including a seal of Henry. In wax, it would be all red, a nice dark red color. I'm making it a tiny bit more colorful. It depicts Henry as a knight in chainmail on his horse, his white charger, giving the charger a cute little eye because he looks better if he's looking forward. On the seal, we can read Henricus Dux Normanorum et Aquitanorum et comis Antegavorum, meaning Henry, the Duke of Normandy and of Aquitaine, an account of Anjou. So, my friend, there we have the month of May in the study's very own almanac. Your study, your place for calm and a little bit of background, history, information, and magic. Be good to yourself, my friend. Be kind to others, and be extraordinary.